All right. Oh my
Hello.
God. What's up?
Yo.
Hi, everybody.
Howdy.
Who's playing? What is happening?
What are you talking about?
I have no idea what you mean.
Jesus Christ. Oh, hang on. Oh,
Jeff didn't actually push us live.
Oh no, we're live. I accidentally had it up on Facebook, so it was a second delay.
Oh, I did that a couple weeks ago on my show, and I was like, "What the crap is happening?"
It's
It was
never.
me, so you're bad luck. I'm bad luck. But something.
Wait, is it still doing it? What's happening?
No.
Oh, I had
hear
it live. Okay, are we back? Oh, I think I had YouTube open. I'm like, what's going on? I don't even know what's happening. Technical difficult.
Professional podcaster.
There's a lot happening in this. Welcome now, Crossing the Streams, episode 80. We are 80 episodes old.
80.
Can't believe it. I had every platform open playing it at once. So you can believe it. Welcome, everybody. We comment along with us. But as always, we do have some special guests. Hey, Jerry, what's up? And we're going to kick off with our theme song. Brand new guest to the show. Oh, no, we're going to start with Tim. Tim, kick us off.
Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have jobs and friends. Well, not really. Just between you and me.
Ooh, that was good. All right, Cameron.
They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff, Ron, Sal, and Bob, and there's Howard. They call it Crossing Streams.
Damn, brought it.
Ron's not here, so.
And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh, shout, and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform. But man, we crossed the stream.
All right, everyone together. We crossed the streams.
We crossed
the streams.
That's the way
we
do it here.
We crossed the streams. Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, the feedback, even with all of us having microphones, it
was in the round.
StreamYard cannot handle it. Welcome, everybody, to Crossing the Streams, where we answer the ultimate question. What should I be watching? You have 1,000 streaming channels, and we're here to help you pick the right things to watch. And sometimes, but not today, when Ron Lippett's here, we tell you stuff not to watch as well. Saving you time is just as important as telling you where to spend it. So we've got some great guests with us today. We got 2 first-timers joining us on episode 80. Devon, introduce yourself. Tell everyone how you're a recovering podcaster and what you're up to.
I used to be on a few different shows. Have guest starred on a few different ones as well. Went into podcast recovery, aka you gain a wife and you start doing some other things around the house and realize projects kind of get built up on you. But currently I've just been helping my buddy with a new venture of a pizza truck called Hearthwood and Fire, and it's located here in Michigan.
I love that. It sounds delicious too. Nice. And then also first time to the show, one of my podcast buddies in arms, good friend, Cameron Dole. Cameron,
what's
tell
up?
Everyone about your awesome podcast.
Well, my podcast, Good Questions with Cameron Dole, I guess I've been doing it coming up on 3 years. We'll be in August. Taking a little bit of a hiatus. Jeff knows all about that. We had some family that had to move in via emergency. Then we ended up needing more space. So we ended up moving about an hour away. The podcast was on a hiatus for about 4 months and put some new episodes out last week. So just trying to get back in the swing of things. Small town, got a home studio, and excited to see what the future holds.
Awesome.
I love your whips.
Oh, Devon's been here before. I just
Nothing from that
Not
from you, especially Jeff.
Say it again. Say it again.
I said I love his whips.
Dole Whips. I just
There you
had
go.
Dole Whip. I had Dole Whip. We went to Florida while
I
we
got
were
you
getting,
now.
while,
Gotcha.
while we were getting COVID in Florida. One of the things we did at Epcot Center was we got pineapple Dole Whip. Greatest thing ever. All right, but
Straight up the best.
the greatest thing ever. Greatest.
I
And
need to start getting some money back from all that too.
I'd recommend it.
Tim Beisiegel, a friend of the show, been here a lot, more than
Howdy.
Devon. Just kidding. What's up? Rebranded your podcast, got it down to one podcast, so now there's one place we can focus and listen to Tim. I'm not saying I gave you the name, but you owe me money. Go.
It definitely helped, that's for sure. So we were I was doing the same show basically on two different channels. We had Pop Culture Addicts, we had Funny Science Fiction Podcast. I started actually the year with 3 podcasts. I'm now down to 1. And so it's just the FSF Popcast. That's the new name, the new brand. Find us everywhere at FSF Popcast. But yeah, it's a sci-fi and pop culture show. Just combining Pop Culture Addicts with Funny Science Fiction.
Awesome. All right, we got Kathleen. This is Tim's co-host, partner in crime. Welcome to the show. We got Casey Ryan Plott for everyone. Your goal when talking about a show when Casey shows up is to try and convince Casey Ryan Plott to watch the show. If he gives you a convinced, you know you rock the show. All right.
Done your job, sure.
What's up, Lee? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So real quick, we got a couple things. One is, let's talk about Ukraine for 1 second, or at least give them a second. And let's not forget all that is going on. Also, I don't have a banner for it. Thoughts with the families and everyone dealing with Highland Park tragedy. Some really, really horrible stories coming out of that. It's devastating. And to pivot to something completely different, the drinking rules.
Completely different.
Yeah, the drinking rules for the game for tonight. Technical issues, drink. So most of you probably should have already been drinking heavily. I know I am. And then if anyone in the show drinks, you drink. If anyone has to be asked what platform their show is on, drink. If we put your name on the screen, drink. If we forget an actor's name, drink. If you're like, what the hell's going on? Just drink. It's all good.
Yeah, and I never really thought about it. Carmen and Jerry created it, so it's a self-fulfilling game in that the more you drink, the more you're going to forget an actor's name, a network, or you're going to have technical issues. So you're going to drink more, and then it just keeps coming. Yeah, you're right, Kathleen.
You're right. Thank you, Kathleen.
We're being wholly irresponsible.
I mean, to be fair, you can't. I mean, your boss. You could just blame it on us at this point. Like your boss gets mad at you for being hungover. I was watching Crossing the Streams. I don't know what was going on last night.
So last week on Crossing the Streams, I was talking about Obi-Wan, and Tim was commenting, and I was kind of taking advantage of the fact that he couldn't speak back at me, telling him how much I disagreed with him. If you can tell me the plot of Obi-Wan now that a week has gone by, I'll side with you. See, you can't. It was that vanilla. Old guy goes in space. Oh, we needed that. All right. Have you guys, Thor's coming out, and I got to say the reviews, they released the early reviews, and they're like, it's a fun, hot mess. It's basically, they're just calling it a pile of garbage, but it's a fun pile of garbage.
Yeah, there's been a handful of good reviews.
Handful of good. I think it'll be good. I like Thor Ragnarok. I like this guy's style.
It's Taika Waititi, so it's always going to have a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor. So if you like Taika Waititi, I have to assume that you're probably going to like this movie as well.
The review I read today actually said he kind of reversed it in a way.
Really?
He threw so much romance and love. He said his goal was actually to piss people off that are Thor fans. just to do something completely out of the box to make it interesting. So we'll see. I don't think it could be that. I don't think it'll be that bad. The biggest challenge is the MCU as a whole in this phase. And I know they've said that very shortly you'll soon know where it's all headed into phase 5. But it is so disjointed right now. They're not bad movies, but they're just it lacks the passion, I guess you'd say, towards an end that definitely developed in phases 1, 2, 3 towards Endgame.
Agreed. There was cohesiveness to the first parts where you kind of had a feeling where it was headed and what was going on. And this kind of feels like because of the some of the main characters who have stepped away, it's kind of unclear as to where they're going, what they're doing, who's going to take the lead now moving forward, and why.
Well, it's also that whoever's clicking a bottle or something, stop, Howard.
That's no, not me. I don't have a bottle.
So my problem is, like, I don't love Doctor Strange. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is a great actor, but Doctor Strange isn't the guy I want to see leading the MSU. It's just, I don't get the magic stuff to me, especially with the 10 Rings one. It's like you can start to, there's just so many rules you just make up on the fly. Like once you've introduced magic and all this, a little magic is okay. But
it's butternut crinkle fries. Get it right. Say his name.
When you're and also when you're speaking of MSU, Jeff, as you put it, you're always going to hear them talk about magic for any Spartan out there. But for the MCU, yes, I am definitely not going to quite enjoy seeing Doctor Strange.
I'm with you, Devon. I caught that.
All right.
Jeff referred to it as the MSU.
sorry.
No, all yeah, right. But the problem with magic is they literally at this point can do anything they want and go, well, it's magic, or the multiverse. Well,
right.
Everyone forgets Peter Parker except that guy.
Yeah, he's a variant. A variant. It's from another
variant's one.
It's just
right.
it's just it lacks the cohesion's a great word.
All right, so for episode 80, we're gonna do something special. We're gonna try something. Howard, this is Howard Rosner's. You love the Rosner rants. Now Howard Rosner brings you a perfect scene.
I'm trying to be more
dive into a perfect scene.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more positive. So my idea for this came about where I was thinking about scenes in movies, whether they're great, dramatic, Oscar nominated or winning films, whether they're absolutely ludicrous. How could you even consider paying to see that in a theater? Comedies, TV shows, basically a scene where even if my wife is yelling at me, would you please get ready? We have to leave, which has never happened. I'm making that up because my wife has never been on time for anything. It is the scene where you go, I just have to see this scene, and then I can do whatever it is I have to do. remote drop scenes where you're like, it's staying here until this scene is over. Just perfection in whatever category they are. So the first one I was thinking about, because it has been on the movie channels a number of times over the past month. Jeff, do you have a piece of the clip, or are you?
I think I do. I do. Let's try this. Now I don't know if it's going to work.
If this is going to be like Paul Rudd on.
Just get ready to drink.
On Conan.
Yeah, just get ready to drink. All right, we're going to just play 20 seconds or so. Let's see if it works.
You forgot the audio checkbox.
There's an audio. I can hear it.
We cannot. That's fine. So,
wait, really? You can't hear it?
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Everybody can get the gist of it.
Okay. Oh, gosh. So, technical difficulty. But I can hear it. It's weird that you guys can't hear it because I can hear it. I wonder if people at home can hear it. Can anyone there hear it? Somebody comment.
None of us can.
This is...
Well...
All right, well, I'll do it. I'll do it for you. What time do you close? Now's not a time. Late. Well, no, late is not a time.
Okay, you're ruining my bit. So, for those of you who haven't figured out yet or haven't seen the movie, the scene is the famous coin toss scene from No Country for Old Men. To me, it is an absolutely perfectly filmed, written, photographed piece of cinema. It's incredible. So, No Country for Old Men, Oscar-winning film, created by the Coen brothers. Javier Bardem, the Oscar winner for, I think he won Best Supporting, not Best Actor, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, won an Oscar for his performance. He's absolutely incredible in this movie. And this scene is really the scene that is supposed to set up two themes of the movie. One, the more practical scene of how absolutely insane Javier Bardem's character is. And then secondly, it's supposed to really play upon one of the themes of the film, which is the randomness of life and death. And it certainly does that well. The other actor is a gentleman named Gene Jones, who has only done character parts throughout his career, but he's also just his performance in the scene and just how simple and unknowing he is at what's going on. He's fantastic. So again, if you had heard the audio, the scene is he Javier Bardem's character is a hitman, takes offense to some of the questioning, which is really just casual conversation that Gene Jones is trying to make, and basically tells him to call a flip of a coin, which Gene Jones doesn't know, but is basically for whether or not he's going to die at the hands of Javier Bardem. The cinematographer is a guy named Roger Deakins, who, amongst his credits, he's been around since the early 80s, and amongst his credits for director of photography, almost all the Coen brothers films, Big Lebowski, Big Lebowski, Barton Fink. He did Hudsucker Proxy. He was the director of photography for Shawshank Redemption, for Fargo, for A Beautiful Mind, for The Hurricane. He's an amazing director of photography, and he captures the scene so well, just the angles he shoots it at, which I think Carmen or somebody mentioned. But and I'd also like to mention one of Roger Deakins' first films he was the director of photography for a documentary called The Cinema of Stephen Dwoskin.
Hey, that's me. Not me, but
well, sort of. So
kind of.
Yeah.
If so, fact. No.
So this to me is an absolutely perfect scene of a film, and it is one of those scenes where I must watch every single time it's on. If I'm within 5-10 minutes of it, I know it's coming. I have to watch. It is a purely perfect portrayal in cinema. So that's my perfect scene.
All right. Well, I think that was a perfect addition to the show. Thank you, Howard Rosner.
Quite welcome.
Quite welcome. All right. Let's kick things off. Let's get into technical issue. Let's talk about last week. Last week we talked about Kenobi. My whole game is off today. We talked about Kenobi, Barry, Charit, The Irishman, and Elvis. And today we're going to cover Justified, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Loot, and Snowflake Mountain. We're going to move right into Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
I wonder who's going to do this one.
This is Tim. This is Tim from Funny Science Fiction, formerly Fine.
It takes time. So this is actually kind of odd for me to be sitting here talking about Star Trek. This is I have never. It's Strange New Worlds. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. But I have never been a Star Trek fan.
I don't know what's wrong with me today.
Don't worry about it. Close enough. I have never been a Star Trek fan previously. I liked the last couple of JJ. I call them the JJ Trek movies, the ones that JJ Abrams did. I liked two things prior to that. I liked The Wrath of Khan, and I liked the episode called Space Seeds where we meet Khan. Past that, I had no use for Star Trek up until recently. And I got into this series. I don't even know really why.
ECCT Alpha 5.
Yeah. I don't even know really why I started watching it, but I did. I sat down and started watching Strange New Worlds, and I have very much enjoyed it. So you can find it on Paramount Plus right now. I think you can also get it on Amazon Prime, but you have to pay like $1.99 an episode if you don't have. It's part of their premium package there. But this is set like I think a decade to maybe 2 decades ahead of time before we meet Captain Kirk and the rest of the Enterprise crew, because this is supposed to be on the Enterprise, and we do meet Uhura, we do meet Spock, but so far that's all of the from what we know of the original series of the cast and crew that we've met. But Pike was when the original came out, the pilot episode. Pike was the captain of the Enterprise for that. He didn't screen test well. They got rid of him, brought in William Shatner, and then you can see him again. I think it's in 2 episodes of the original series, called a Menagerie. It was a 2-part, and he comes back for that. But yeah, it's really well done. It feels from everything that I have been told, it's more like the original Trek series than a lot of some of the newer ones that have come out, like Discovery and things like that, where other people have had issues. I can't speak to that. I've never watched a minute of Discovery. I can't tell you how this compares to that, or even Picard or anything. But I will tell you what this show has done. It's convinced me to go back and watch the original series, despite my disdain for all things William Shatner. So
Shatner's classic in that episode.
He is.
So you can't knock William there.
Oh, sure you can. Here's the thing: I don't care for William Shatner. I don't care for his acting style, but I like the character. I like Kirk as a character. I like who and what he stands for, and all those things. He's basically James Bond in space at this point, But if it was somebody else, I probably would have liked it more. But I do like the fact of what we're seeing in these episodes of Strange New Worlds is something that ties into the stuff that I'm also seeing in the original series, and there's a direct connection to it, not only just between characters and things. It takes a little bit to get used to, in my opinion, Ethan Peck, Gregory Peck's grandson, as Spock, mainly because the first episode, like the first scene of him there, here's Spock without a shirt on. He's cut. He's ripped. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" You never really see that as Spock. But
how do you know you didn't watch the original series?
I'm assuming that Leonard Nimoy, never.
How many Spocks are there now? There's like 6
3.
Spocks.
Oh no, there's more than that, because there's one.
Discovery has one too, I think.
Yeah, and I think the Enterprise show has one as well. I don't know. But yeah,
Nimoy was cut. I mean, that dude, did you ever see him without a shirt on? Jacked.
Negatory. But I'm going to take your word for it.
Straight.
I'm not going to go Google that either.
Yeah, I'm not Google searching that one. Leonard Nimoy, shirtless. Yeah, that can never go right. But it's...
I believe it should be, what if Leonard Nimoy was shirtless?
But there's a couple episodes in this in particular that have really taken my attention. There's a couple early on episodes that I liked, but especially the last 2, episode 8, episode 9. The season finale comes out tomorrow morning, but season 9 or episode 9, if you haven't watched it yet, this is your spoiler, so close your ears for 3 seconds. It's basically Alien versus Predator versus Star Trek. It is amazing. Honestly, I said wow a lot during the episode. Wow, I was Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wait, is this all in the first season?
This is all the first season, yeah.
And this is on what?
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus, okay.
Or Amazon Prime if you're willing to pay per episode for their premium stuff. But episode 8 hit me kind of hard because it's all about Dr. Mbenga's daughter, who has a life-threatening illness. My daughter is chronically ill, so it hits close to home. If you do watch it and you have somebody in your life who's chronically ill, maybe get some tissues handy. It gets right at the heartstrings, man. But very solid show, very enjoyable, and for a rabid Star Wars fan, it seems odd for me to say, "Hey, go watch Star Trek." But yeah, go watch Star Trek.
All right, cool.
And don't worry, we are going to have that meeting with you next week, Tim. The council has spoken, in regards to your change to Star Trek. So
Has anyone else here seen this version of Star Trek? I've seen ads for it, but that's it. All right, so it does take place before it's Pike. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, Tim,
Pike's
you're
in the
not
movies.
you're not anti Shatner and pro Hayden Christensen, are you?
No, Hayden
Yes,
Christensen
actually.
was.
I actually really enjoy Hayden Christensen. He was just great. He was given a bad script.
Okay.
I mean, that's a whole nother show, but
That's
yeah.
Star Wars.
I
No,
know.
I mean-
I'm talking about acting styles.
no, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that's a whole different argument. That's a whole show in of itself about, you know, you working with the script that you're given and the material that you're given and working with the direction you're given. There's a whole rant I have about how George Lucas is a wonderful, wonderful, inspiring man who has great ideas but should never be allowed to write a story or direct a movie. So
No, it's a good point. So Shatner story. So the last Motor City Comic Con, William Shatner was at it, and for $120 you could buy the picture, and then they tell you when to come back. So on Friday, the first day of the convention, you could buy it for 120, and they're like, he'll be here at 4. And then I go, will he be here? Oh no, you can get it in line at 4. Will he be here at 4? Sir, we don't know when Mr. Shatner will be here. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You just asked me for $120 and asked me to then show up 3 hours later. I was just curious if he would be there. Sorry, didn't realize I crossed the line. Yeah. And so, and then, so here's the funny thing, right? So they had him in this good spot, but the other 3 spots that were around him, if you picture like an area with like 4 main areas, were the 3 guys from Scream: Matthew Lillard, Jamie Kennedy, and the killer. I can't remember his name, from the first Scream. And Matthew Lillard, you would think he literally was the biggest thing at this Comic-Con. You know, he was Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, right? And like the line for him, anyway, they ended up moving Shatner the next day because the 3 of them together were so popular and loud that he had to be moved.
oh, that's funny.
It's a little ego blow there, but that was funny. Anyway, all right. Well, all right, that was good.
I will say the best Star Trek storyline of all time was the floating restaurant in space on Saturday Night Live and Dana Carvey's con.
Oh yeah.
What was it? That was the best line, And then the other thing is, he goes, he recognizes Chekhov. He recognizes Chekhov, but Chekhov wasn't in Space Seed, the episode, so you never actually met him. So little continuity error.
But he's the superior intellect, so he probably knew of him.
No, I'm the superior. All right, let's move on.
Try telling your wife that.
All right, this is a show I've never seen, but I'm very interested in. Justified, and Cameron is going to take us through this.
Yeah, Jeff, you asked me a while ago about a show, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna talk about binging, there's only 2 shows that I've ever truly binged: Cheers, which everybody's watched and seen a million times, and Justified. I'm on my 3rd run through now as we speak. I think I'm on episode 12 of season 1 on Hulu, and you can also get it on Amazon Prime as well. So 6 seasons. Timothy Oliphant plays Raylan Givens, and chasing against I don't know what you necessarily call Boyd Crowder. I mean, he's involved in everything, and everything is seedy. All of the it seems like everybody has a darkness to their life, a bad side. I mean, even Raylan, who's the good guy, he's still got some skeletons in the closet too. And they had an amazing cast. Follows Raylan, starts out the first episode with talking about him shooting somebody, whether it was necessary or not. He ends up getting moved back to backwoods Kentucky, and all kinds of backwoods Kentucky ensues for 6 seasons. I think it's a great show, and it's also a great show to talk about if you ever are going through something in your life and you think, man alive, it's pretty rough, you can watch Justified. It'll make you feel better about yourself.
What's the general theme of like an episode or a season? Like, what are they trying to accomplish?
It is all Raylan trying to get Boyd. I mean, from the first episode all the way through. I mean, and Boyd has Jerry Burns plays one of the bad guys above, I think, looking for Boyd as well. Everybody is seedy, and one of my favorite characters in the show. There's two surprising characters that come in. Michael Rappaport, seeing him as a redneck Kentucky boy is amazing. He was amazing. And then Patton Oswalt playing the bungling deputy, and he truly shows his heart in the show as well. It's amazing. Great cast. And like I said, if you're feeling bad about yourself, turn on Justified. They're a little worse off than you are.
So this is based on an Elmore Leonard book.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so let's talk about Timothy Oliphant. Are you obsessed with this show because you have a man crush on Timothy Oliphant? It's a safe space.
No,
I
not
do.
at all.
I do.
You
I
know,
think
honestly, my connection with my connection towards Timothy Oliphant is that he reminds me of my brother about 10 years ago. I mean, he and my brother resemble each other a lot. So that's why I've always followed Timothy Oliphant, because he reminds me of that guy up in the middle of the screen, that Tim too. Right?
Timothy Oliphant.
What's your favorite Timothy?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you what your favorite Timothy Oliphant production is, Jeff.
Well, I love Deadwood. He was great in Deadwood, but I also loved Santa Clarita Diet, which was a show on Netflix. It was, I think, only 2 seasons, and it was with Drew Barrymore. They play husband and wife, and the two of them together. If you go to watch Santa Clarita Diet, get through the first episode. I don't know. For some reason, the first episode doesn't 100% work. But once you get through the first episode, it's one of the greatest shows ever. Right? It just gels right away, right after that. And the two of them are so great. It's one of those like big things where apparently, I'm guessing Drew and him didn't give a shit, because how they didn't win season 3, it needed a season 3 to kind of finish off the series, I think, because it ended on a big cliffhanger. But like the fact that Netflix just let that go, it was like one of those times where Netflix was doing just 2 seasons of things and then moving on with everything. They've kind of loosened that up a little bit now, but he's so good in it. He's so funny in that. Of course, he's great in Mandalorian in that role.
I love 2 of my favorite roles of his. I love him in The Girl Next Door.
Yes,
with Alicia Cuthbert as the porn producer. He's or director. He's great in that. And I also love him in the small role he did in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's excellent in that as well.
Yeah,
strong couple cameo episodes in The Office as well as Danny Cordray.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So somebody already brought up Cobb Vanth and in Boba Fett. So
small
He's
role
good.
Small role in Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg as well.
Yeah. Good. He's just good all the way around.
Here we got. I'm a fan of Timothy Oliphant, the Hitman.
The Hitman movie.
Hitman, yeah.
He's really great as everything he does. He's really really good. Cool.
How many times have you watched Cheers through? In addition,
Cheers. Are you asking me or Jeff?
Yeah. No, you said you watched
me. Man alive, I probably watched Cheers through at least 11 or 12 times.
Wow.
And I still cry at the final episode.
Ah,
yeah,
nice.
I'm that guy.
I to this day, my wife and I both, anytime we're doing stuff that's heavy with vegetables or drinking a beverage for the first time, we'll still say randomly out of nowhere, "You really can taste the kale." from the Veggie Boy episode.
I hate kale. You have to take the money back.
All right, my friends. Great job, Cameron. Fabulous.
Thank you.
All right, let's. I'm interested. So Devon said, "I'm going to do Snowflake Mountain. It's the greatest show. You got to watch it. And even if you don't let me on your fabulous show, you still have to watch it." That's what he said to me. So, but here we
100%.
are. So I said, "You gotta come on." So, all right. So tell us all about this show on Netflix.
So, I mean, the best way that I look at this is, all these people with their kids nowadays. And Jeff, I know, you and Tim's kids are a little bit older now. They're starting to get their own attitudes, and they're, basically, Dad, you suck. They're getting to that point. So we're gonna go to a little wooded area, and we're gonna take the running water and no parents and no Wi-Fi. Take all that away from them, and these kids are dropped off at a survival retreat ran by 2 ex-Marines who teach them what it means to not be needing so much extra in their life. These kids don't have a chance for makeup or anything like that. And you're in a wild trip of just watching these kids cry and moan and whine about how sucky their life must be because they don't have what they need. And you just enjoy it in the comfort of your own home under the warmth while you're drinking your cocktail of the choice of the night and just binging through each episode, watching kids cry. It's pretty great. Yeah. So
Is it reality TV or documentary?
yeah, so it's a reality TV show that they did.
It's out of the UK, right?
Yeah. So most of the kids are actually American. I think you get about 3 or 4 of them are from the UK. But it's a small island in the UK that they go to. They have a tent set up where they actually have to like supply their own wood for the fires. They have to do different challenges to create their put themselves in certain positions that they need to survive in. And it's really ridiculous and funny about how some of these kids act. I mean, not to give too much away, but that there's a vegetarian that's on there, and the kids have to learn how to gut a deer. And when she looks at them, she just basically like drops her jaw and's like, "I'm not doing that. That's crazy." I'm like, "Well, honey, you got to eat, so good luck." And it cracks me up just watching some of these kids and how ridiculous, because you never think that your life is so hard until you start watching these kids just try to survive out in the woods. And it just makes me laugh so hard.
How many episodes is this?
I want to say it was 10 episodes, I believe. Pull that up actually right now. But each one is, they're pretty short episodes. So there's 8 episodes. I apologize. 8 episodes in there. They're pretty short. So me and my wife binged it in I think about a day or two. And the kids are, it just basically centers around that. But the best part is there's a cash prize at the end for the person who they believe has completely unsnowflaked themselves. And every time somebody leaves, the price pot goes down. So it starts at 50,000, and as a kid leaves, it goes down 5,000.
Oh, so it's like the opposite of Squid Game.
Yeah, basically.
Got it.
Yeah, my daughter and I were watching something on Netflix the other night, and we saw the trailer for this. And I didn't want to start watching it because it looked like a train wreck that you just could not look away from.
100%.
It's just the trailer. If you watch the trailer, it was just like I wanted to go on there and smack them all my damn self. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. So would you qualify this as hot mess fun?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that like you just Tim put it the best way possible. It's a car accident that you can't look away from, but you still keep watching because you just want to see what happens next. I mean, there's some kids that they're actually enjoying themselves and they're learning, which is fun. But at the same time, there's just those really bratty, bougie teenagers that are just like really snotty and mean towards one another, and they kind of like bicker and fight, and that's what makes it a little more fun. Because you just want to. It's
All right. So this
it's
is
not
a
just real world.
This is
So
a show that Devon said, Jeff, you've got to drop everything what you're doing and watching it. I will now have a game. Don't look it up. Just guess. I'll give you a plus or minus 20%. What is the average tomato meter for the reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes? Just guessing.
I might have to say a 65.
Okay. Remember, I gave you a 20-point swing. And go ahead. Just pick anyway. Anyone want to go? All right, well, I'll give you the answer. The answer is 0.
Yeah, say I was,
Jerry came in at the right second with 20. So with the 20-point swing, Jerry wins. The average audience score fared a little better at 47%. So Devon's a little 20 points above average of the audience score with a 60, average 60. So, all right, well, that's all right.
yeah. IMDb gives it a 4.8 out of 10, and some random Google poll, 83% of the viewers liked the show.
I'm wondering if, like, because there's not even any like really quotes or anything on this. I wonder if just no one's seen it except the one person who thankfully is on our show.
He said 2 thumbs up and a fist bump.
Coming to Jeff Dwoskin's show on the 6th. I'm gonna have to pick one. This one works.
No, it's fine. It's good. I mean, we can't all do cheers. No, this is good. All right. Well, hey, there is an audience for this, and it's one of those brain dead shows. All right, that's fine. There's room for that.
I mean,
This is good.
100%.
Yeah, this is good. No, it's funny. It's just sometimes really bad stuff is still fun to watch. So we're good. It was good. It was a good review. I think you painted it perfectly. So we did good. You did good. All right. There's a new show in town on There's a new show in town on Apple called Loot with Maya Rudolph.
You are struggling. Holy
I
cow.
am struggling today. I don't know what's wrong with me. So Howard Rosner, take it away.
Yeah. So Loot is a new show on Apple TV Plus. It is 4 episodes in, so typical Apple TV. They did the first 3 episodes and then 1 a week until the first season is done. When I watched the first episode, I laughed my ass off, and I sent Jeff a note. I'm like, I'm definitely doing all of Loot and watching that and doing that on the show this week. So the show is stars Maya Rudolph. It's created by Matt Hubbard, who's written for a bunch of stuff, and Alan Yang, who's directed and created or directed and written a bunch of really good stuff, including he did a bunch of stuff on Parks and Rec. So he's really good comedy writer and director. It stars Maya Rudolph as a billionaire's wife. Her husband is Adam Scott, one of my favorites, as we all know. He's not hugely involved. He's involved in the first episode a ton. She discovers at his birthday party that he's having an affair. And so it leads to a divorce. She ends up with something like $50 billion, but has no idea what now to do with her life. And she discovers that she has a foundation, and the foundation kind of sends her a note criticizing her, or a phone call that the woman who runs the foundation calls her, criticizing her for her behavior in the months after getting divorced, like going everywhere, getting drunk, falling into pools in front of paparazzi. And so she decides to go in and visit the foundation and decides that she wants to be involved with the foundation every day. That's now going to be her job. And the comedy comes out of that. Obviously, she's so awkward being a billionaire that she has no idea how to approach any of these foundations doing stuff for predominantly low income, homeless, and a lot of comedy comes from that. So I say that I watched the first episode and I was so excited. And the second episode, I was excited. And then the third episode, I'm like, not quite as excited. And then the fourth episode, I'm like, God, I don't really know. It's as it's kind of gone along, it's kind of gotten a little uneven as I've watched it. It almost like they can't fully decide what they want to be. The first two episodes were really funny, great episodes. The third episode was a little bit weirder. The fourth episode's almost like rom-com with the way it rolls. So I'm curious to see how they play it the rest of the year. I would definitely suggest giving it a watch because it is Maya Rudolph is exceptional in it, especially in the third episode. She decides to start doing interviews to talk about her role in the foundation, and she gives up on doing Anderson Cooper or any of the big news shows and instead decides to go on Hot Ones. And it's really funny. She's like takes a bite into the first wing and her mouth's immediately on fire. She starts drinking beer. And so by the time they get to like the third or fourth wing, she's hammered drunk and it's great. The host from Hot Ones does a really good job too in the role playing straight man to her. The best part of the show without question are all the aside from Maya Rudolph, they did a really good job with the ancillary characters. The people she works with at the foundation and her personal assistant are really, really good, really funny. Ron Funches, who's a stand-up, is great. There's another guy, and I'm going to forget his name. He has been in episodes at least of literally everything. He does a ton of animation voices. Big robot chicken voice. And I can't remember his name. He's really, really funny in the role he plays. He's the accountant for the foundation. The only one, and it almost at times makes you really upset and takes you out of the show and your enjoyment, is the woman that plays the head of the foundation is to me is terribly miscast. She's awful, I think, in the role. I don't find her to be a good actor in any way, shape, or form. And the way the character's written, she's so like she's obviously supposed to be the opposing character, and it's just not really. She's not great. So, anyways, I recommend picking it up, watching it, seeing what you think. Maya Rudolph's great, so definitely take a shot if you have Apple TV Plus.
The guy that you were referring to, was it Ron Funches who plays Howard?
No. Ron Funches is a stand-up. He's done a bunch of stuff as well, and he's
talking about Nat. Is it?
Yeah, it's
Nat Faxon. Nat Faxon. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
hysterical. Been in literally
too.
Everything. Yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff. He plays one of my favorite episodes of one of my favorite shows we've talked about 1,000 times, Party Down. He plays a character named Garrett Greenbaum, I think is his name, something like that, or Greenleaf, who's competing with Lizzie Kaplan at the company picnic. And he's really good. He's been in a bunch of stuff, and he's really good. Yeah, Ron Funches is great as Howard. Her assistant is really good. There's also a little bit of like she's a billionaire and she owns the foundation, and the woman who runs the foundation talks to her so disrespectfully sometimes. It's like nobody talks to billionaires like that. Like whether you work, especially if they pay your salary essentially, and
right.
It's just like so awkward. And yeah, so it takes you out of it a little bit. They've softened her a little in the following episodes, so we'll see. I hope it continues to be really good. Because I do love Maya Rudolph, and hopefully they bring in some other good guest stars to be in the show.
Because I want to watch it now just because of Ron Funches, because he used to be in a show called, I think it was only around for a season or two, and he was the only thing redeemable in it, called Undateable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was hysterical in that
Great show.
Yeah.
Wasn't he also in the one with about the superhero cleanup people?
Yeah,
That
I know which one you're talking about. Because the guy from
girl from the singing thing from High School Musical was in it too. Vanessa
so was
Hudgens.
the guy who played Abed in Community. He was
Yeah,
also in that show.
yeah. It was kind of like I think they were going to do a Marvel cleanup show, and then they beat them with that DC version. Wait, oh, you mentioned Maya did the Hot Ones.
Yeah.
Didn't she do that as Beyonce on Saturday Night Live?
Oh, I don't know. Did she?
I'm almost positive she did that skit as Beyonce. Anyway, all right. So, all right, it's one of those things.
Yeah,
Gotta check it out. It's just the
that
comedy
episode's
evolves
great.
during it. Okay. All right. Well, that was good. That was good. Thank you, Howard
You
Rosner.
got it.
Oh, speaking of, so my brother was just in London, and they went to Wimbledon, and he's like, "Oh, guess who we saw? We saw Hannah." Well, he said the tall blonde from Ted Lasso who owned the team, and
Hannah
the
Waddingham?
other one. So I believe he meant Hannah Waddingham and Juno
Waddingham, yeah.
Temple, I believe. And he's like, nobody was near them. He's like, we walked up, we took a picture, and this place was packed. But no, he's like, nobody watches Ted Lasso
In London, yeah.
in London. So anywho, so that was fun.
Juno
So-
Temple, it took me a while. I did not remember her. I mentioned last week that I rewatched the first episode of Vinyl because I had forgotten that it was Scorsese. It was a 2-hour first episode, and it was Scorsese. And I watched it, and Juno Temple was one of the stars of Vinyl. I totally spaced on that because she's doing an American accent, and she's great. I love her.
Oh, she
I
kills it in The Offer. That's on Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah.
She's great in that as well.
Wait,
Okay.
you could have reviewed The Offer. Instead, you went with Snowflake Mountain.
Got priorities here, Jeff. Come on now.
I figured it was more, it connected more with you, Jeff, and your kids.
It's public service. That's what he was offering.
Awesome. All right. Well, hey, this is a great show. Thank you for joining us for episode 80. Thanks to everyone at home and everyone who will watch it on the replays. Cameron, thank you. Great first time. Remind everyone about your podcast and where they can find you.
All right. The podcast, Good Questions with Cameron Dole. You can find it anywhere you find your podcasts. You can also look me up on all the socials, The Cameron Dole. I've got them all the same, The Cameron Dole, and got a YouTube page as well. And that's just Cameron Dole there as well.
Super fun interview show. Devon, return guest Devon. Tell us. Say goodbye.
So, big thing, check out Hearthwood and Fire Pizza. It is amazing. We are scheduling ourselves out right now through September. If you live in the Dodge Park area in Sterling Heights and whatnot, we're over there quite often at Music in the Park, but we are taking on private events all over. We're Wood Fire Pizza, so keep it old school. We've worked on the recipe countless hours, and I've gained the weight to prove it. So definitely check it out.
Roz, we should have a party at your house and we could pool and pizza. So let me ask you a question.
I have a pizza.
Devon is you do have that. You could make your own pizza. That's right. How long did it take you to come up with that name? Because food trucks have the cleverest names, and that's a great one. Earth, Wind, and Fire. How many? How did that click?
So
Was it like
with Earthwood and Fire, the ironic part is my buddy's born on September 21st.
21st of September.
I remember.
I remember.
Do
So-
you remember?
The best
I'm
part
sorry,
is,
I'm only familiar with the Taylor Swift version.
the best part is if you actually look at all his the names of his pizzas, they're actually all named after songs by Earth, Wind, and Fire. So we kind of connected it up, and we to come up with the recipes and how we wanted to get everything. No, you cannot, Jerry. That's the alcohol talking. But to get everything corrected, we even went to learn from some of the masters over at a pizza expo in Las Vegas. So that was pretty interesting.
That is very
Nice.
cool. Very cool. Tim, Say
Hey.
goodnight.
Yeah. Good night. Tim from the FSF Popcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and all your fun socials at FSF Popcast. We talk about pop culture and science fiction and all that fun stuff. And thanks, Jeff. This was a ton of fun.
Awesome. Roz, say goodnight.
Good evening.
All right.
I got nothing.
All right. You can check out my podcast, Classic Conversations. Sal and Bob are regulars. They're not here, but check out their podcast, The Sal and Bob Show, wherever podcasts are found. Thank you, everybody, for coming back week after week. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. And that has been another episode of Crossing the Streams. Join us every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow the Jeff DeWaskin Show on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live with your hosts, Jeff DeWaskin, Ron Lippett, Howard Rosner, Bob Phillips, Sal D'Amelio. We're all in the socials. Follow us, listen to our podcasts, Classic Conversations, and the Sal and Bob Show. Check them all out, and we'll see you next week and every week when we cross more streams right here. See you then.